It normally starts with a massage by one of the masseuses here, and that gets me loosened up and everything. And then I'll do...
That's really weird because we don't have any massage therapists here.
You don't have any massage
No,
therapist?
I'm kidding. Not a massage therapist. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Licensed massage therapy, licensed physical therapy. Yes, we have it.
Okay, that's who I meant. That's what I said. You can just... Anyway.
Welcome to the Back to Work Melbourne podcast, where Dr. Dorfman is your federal workers' comp OWCP expert in Brevard County, Florida. In this podcast, you'll hear tips and tricks about the OWCP process, along with heartfelt patient testimonials from those we've helped get their claims approved. Tune in each week for insightful advice and inspiring stories that will guide you through your journey.
So good morning. We are here again on another podcast to Back to Work Melbourne. And we have Jeff, one of our longtime patients. Jeff, how long have you been here?
I started here last year, October. I'm pretty sure it was.
So we'll call that a long time. So what I want to do is I just want to ask you some questions and certainly want your truthful answers of how your experience has been before you started here and afterwards, because we see all kinds of patients. We see patients whom met us not until a year after their injury. Other people found out about us immediately after their injury. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about your injury. What happened? How did you injure yourself?
I was working, and this was like October last year. And basically, I was walking back to the truck, and I just didn't see a sewer drain, and I stepped off the drain. It was about that far, and I just landed wrong on my ankle, and I went all the way down. I heard a loud noise, hit the ground, So I rolled my ankle really bad. Told my managers and everything, and it swole up, and pretty much, I've been dealing with it ever since.
Did you make it? Did you finish out your day?
I tried to, and it was pretty impossible. I only had a few more packages. It was Amazon Sunday, and I wanted to just continue. And I got out of the truck, started walking, and no, and it was swole. It swole up so fast, it was kind of crazy. But so pretty quickly, we realized I could not work. And then I talked to a coworker, and she did mention, your place, and got me in really fast. So I didn't have to wait around or anything. But it's been pretty great. I've had treatment for this the whole time, and I don't know. I see improvements all the time, so it's good.
So you injured yourself, and automatically one of your coworkers said, "I've got the right."
She saw that I got hurt and told me about you specifically and your place and what you do, and it really was awesome. And
that's what we would hope would happen in every situation, that a person injures themselves. Coworker tells them, "Write about me." The reason for the podcast and the other forms of social media that we do is because there's so many people who don't have that great experience, quick experience that you had. So many people are suffering out there where they injured themselves. Their supervisor isn't telling them where to go, because a lot of times they don't know where to go. They just tell them to go to the ER, to an urgent care center. And even though you get good care or great care, it's not doing anything in getting your claim approved. Yeah. Because when you work for the federal government, just because you injured yourself doesn't mean that your case is automatically approved. Unfortunately, there's a whole bunch of paperwork that we have to do behind the scenes, not only documenting the injury to the part of the body, but what is your job? What were you doing? How did your job lend to you injuring yourself? And an 8 or 10 page report that goes on behind the scenes that gets your case approved. And then we stand behind those cute little things that we have here. But I'm glad in your perfect situation that you were told by a coworker so immediately. And that's what we're always doing, is we're always telling our patients, giving them brochures and cards, and say, hey, any of your coworkers injure themselves, let them know about me, because nobody else is telling them. And it wasn't until this podcast and our social media that now I'm getting out to those people that now know me before they even injure themselves. And that's what I want to do, is get people to know me before they even injure themselves, so they don't have to deal with a supervisor or someone sending them in the wrong direction. You had a person that luckily thought enough about you to care about you and say, hey, you know what, you injured yourself, you need to go to the right person, instead of farting around throughout the workers' comp and with your supervisors and everyone sending you off into the wrong direction.
Right.
So how has your treatment been here so far? So you come in here in the morning times, you're treated by...
It normally starts with a massage by one of the masseuses here, and that gets me loosened up and everything. And then I'll do...
That's really weird because we don't have any massage therapists here.
You don't have any massage
No, I'm
therapist?
kidding. Not a massage therapist. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Licensed massage therapy, licensed physical therapy. Yes, we have.
Okay, that's who I meant. That's what I said. You can just... Anyway, so I'll get that done, and then, I'll normally do, some kind of ankle stretches, and I do, a hip box sit to help my hips. There's also stimulation that happens, ultrasound. There's a lot of good things that have been helping me, stretching and things like that, so...
Federal workers' comp, you have wonderful insurance, but you have insurance that luckily pays for your medical bills, which is different than other forms of workers' comp. Other forms of workers' comp, when you're not working for the federal government, they want you to get a little bit of treatment. You go to the doctor 2 or 3 times, they make you feel important, and then they automatically cut your care. When you're not working for the federal government, you treat a few times, and what you don't know what's going on behind the scenes is the insurance company is calling your doctor, and they're saying, we want them back to work, no more visits. They're not looking to spend any money, and they just want you back to work. Working for the federal government is completely different. You have insurance, and they do pay your medical bills. All we have to do is successfully document your injuries and the treatment that you're getting and answer all their questions. And there's a lot of them, but it's okay. But the great part is that when you do injure yourselves, as long as you're going to the right place, you're able to get that treatment. And as long as you're injured and we're documenting those injuries, you're able to get that treatment as long as you need to. So you can get back to work, and you're working.
Oh, yeah.
Were you ever out of work, or did you just work this whole time?
No, I was for a while when it was a brand new injury, and then I started coming here, and I was going 2 or 3 days a week, and then we've got it down to 1 now because it's working, And I have no restrictions at work.
The important part when patients start here is sometimes patients feel that if they're treating, they can't be working, that you can't be doing both. And we explain to them, we want you working.
Yeah.
We're not looking to be part of the problem. We're not looking to have you out of work. We start off your treatment with your work restriction form. I explain, and the nurse practitioner explains to the patient that we don't want to give you restrictions unless you need them. If you're at work and you need restrictions, no problem. But we know that sometimes presents a little bit of a problem because your employer doesn't want you there with too many restrictions.
Right.
They would rather you just be home. And we're not looking for you to be home. We want you working. And I always say to patients, the best way to know if you're really going to get paid on Friday is by working. Because sometimes you don't know what's going to happen on Friday when you get paid. So I always say to patients, this is not a vacation. We want you back to work. We're not looking to be part of the problem. We're not looking to have you out of work and just on a vacation. We want you back to work. And a great number of our patients are still working. We have, I think, maybe 5 to 10%, maybe closer to 5 or 7% of our patients are not working. The other 93%, they're already working because you have a retirement. There's a pot of gold at the end of your rainbow. You just want to get there.
Yep.
And people think that federal workers comp is kind of like personal injury. When you hurt yourself in a car accident, now you have an attorney and you're suing the other insurance company. Nothing like that is going on with federal workers comp. I mean, yes, are there federal workers comp attorneys that do help those patients that for some reason are not getting paid, because that does happen. But other than that, there's no attorneys involved. You're just treating for the injury that occurred when you were working. But a lot of patients don't understand that, and a lot of patients feel that if they're seeking treatment, that they can't be working. No, you can be doing both. You can be coming to the doctor's office and working. That's our job is to get you working as quickly as possible. And the great thing about your insurance is they will pay as long as we are documenting our notes successfully, and that goes from your acute injury of treatment and then changing it to the other forms of physical therapy that you should be getting to be making you stronger and stronger at your particular job. Okay.
And I almost fell asleep today on the table. It was so relaxing.
We appreciate you being a patient.
Yeah.
We appreciate our patients referring
it's been real
over
smooth.
Their coworkers and co-family, not only here in Melbourne, but we also have the office in Orlando, because at the beginning we had so many patients coming here from Orlando that we opened up an office in Orlando. So now those Orlando patients can stay in Orlando. We can keep all these patients here on the East Coast, everywhere from Daytona, some patients sometimes even from Jacksonville, but patients from Daytona all the way down to West Palm and Fort Pierce and Port St. Lucie. We see patients everywhere because there's nowhere for them to go. They go to the orthopedic doctors. And orthopedic doctors do give great care and, of course, surgery when needed, but they don't know how to fill out the paperwork. So a lot of times a person injures themselves and they go straight to the orthopedic doctor. The orthopedic doctor can treat them, but they don't know how to do the paperwork. And then when they don't know how to do the paperwork, now your case is not accepted. Your bills are not paid. You don't get the money that you need when you're out of work, all because the case wasn't accepted. So what I always say to these patients is you come here first. We get your claim accepted. And then if it's an orthopedic doctor that you need, great, no problem. We'll send you to the orthopedic doctor. We have orthopedic doctors that call us and they say, hey, I have this new federal workers' comp patient and we have no problems treating them, but we don't know how to do the paperwork. So they refer it over to us. We do the examination. We fill out the paperwork correctly and refer that right back over to the orthopedic doctor who should be seeing that patient. These patients don't understand when you are involved in a federal work injury, you have to be going to a doctor who specializes in the treatment of your injuries and the documentation of those injuries in your paperwork. Because there's a lot of paperwork. If you don't know how to fill it out correctly, then it's you're going nowhere. But when you know how to fill that paperwork out correctly, it makes it very easy.
Yeah, it's been pretty smooth, like through and through. So,
well, we appreciate you being a patient.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here today on the podcast. I've been trying to get you in for weeks
Yeah.
and weeks and weeks.
It's true.
But I'm glad you made it here today.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Glad to be here.
Great to see you.